Hey guys, it's Toro. Today we got 5 beginner tips you need to know as medic. While these tips are basic, I'll be going into good detail about them and the whys for these fundamentals, not just telling you what you should do. Because when you know the whys, you're able to make decisions on the fly on your own. After all, this video can't be there for every situation you find yourself in a pub. It's just impossible. First off is healing priority. Sometimes as medic, you'll just be handed a team so low they're on the verge of getting collateraled by one scattergun pellet. And the question is, who's first? And the answer is, who's about to take damage first? Even if the guy is only half HP and the rest of your team is in single digit health, you need to arrow him first. And this can be literally any class. It does not matter. That's because he's the only one holding the front line and is almost guaranteed to take damage next. Even if it's just one guy, it gives off the illusion to the other team that you're still capable of putting up a fight and they won't push into you and kill you. But after you get him back up to full HP and maybe even a little bit of a buff, who's next? You want to get your front lines back up to full HP, so you want to heal one of your combat classes. Heal up whoever you think hasn't taken damage the longest. The Medibeam heals faster the longer your target has gone without damage or healing, making a huge difference. This is referred to as crit heals. So, amongst your combat classes, whoever you think has crit heals, heal them first. And if there's multiple low combat classes who you think have crit heals, heal whichever one has the lowest max HP. That way if you think a class like Soldier or Heavy has crit heals and they don't, you're not stuck healing them back up at a slow rate. And if you leave them there without heals for a few seconds, they're actually going to build crit heals, so you get to heal them back faster. And if you mess up, you're not stuck slowing them at that heal rate. Now there are a few exceptions. For example, if you see one of your combat classes gunning it for a health pack or dispenser, just let them. It works out better for you anyways. Heal everyone else around you. They're falling back and your priority is keeping up that front line. So go back to healing that person who's most likely to take damage next. Once everyone is back up to full HP, spread your heals around. Make sure everyone is kinda buffed and don't just keep the Medibeam on one guy. Heal everyone evenly with a preference towards the front line. Just use your best judgment. You should have 3 goals as medic. Number 1, don't die. Number 2, heal your team. Number 3, get as many Ubers as possible. And there's a lot to know about how to properly charge Ubers. Practically every Medibeam charges at a different rate, but for the sake of simplicity, we'll only talk about stock Uber. Here's a comparison of the slowest possible rate you can build an Uber versus the fastest possible rate. The difference is massive. Achieving this maximum possible rate of healing is actually quite easy. It's just mainly filled with do nots. So let's get through them. First one, do not heal somebody already being healed by something else. This includes other medics, dispensers, and payload carts. Whenever something else is healing the same thing you are, your charge rate is cut in half for everything healing them. Your heal rate is added onto dispensers and payload carts, however, though, not other medics. So you can get someone back up to full HP if need be at the cost of your Uber rate, but you are better off arrowing them while healing someone else. Of course, this doesn't necessarily matter if you have Uber. You can go ahead and heal these people. It should never be off limits. Never. Next one, do not keep healing someone with a full overheal. If you do this, your Uber build rate will be cut so drastically compared to the other medic who is spreading their heals. This mechanic is mainly in place to encourage you to heal your other teammates, which you should be doing anyways. Lastly, do not use your crossbow. Now this one is kind of iffy. You obviously need the burst healing and long range healing, but you are healing at a slower rate with the crossbow. So if you want to pinch for pennies, try and get away with just the Medibeam at times if you can. Like if you know if your team won't take damage for a while and they're going to be safe. Then again, you're not really losing out on much. But still, if the Uber percentage between you and the other medic is tight, do this. Avoid these do nots and you'll be pumping out so many Ubers, you'll be straight mogging the other team's medic. It will be unbelievable. Real quick guys, if you're enjoying the video, leave a like and subscribe. It lets me know you guys enjoyed this kind of content. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for the support after my first video. That video blew up. It's crazy. Thank you guys so much. Now back to the video. So now that you're Uber maxing, who are you going to use all these Ubers on? Let's take a look at Pyro, Heavy, Soldier, and Demo to see which is best for each popular game mode. However, it is noteworthy to mention Scout. In competitive, he by far takes the cake in Ubers. But in casual, Scout usually has like a 20% shotgun accuracy 99% of the time. Scouts in casual typically just run behind the other team, get 1 kill, and then die. But if you see a scout top scoring off of kills, not captures and Mad Milk assists, they're actually your best Uber candidate for Koth and 5CP. Just because it's almost impossible to get away with a good Uber on payload because of all the sentries with Scout. But back to the main 4 we'll be looking at. First off, Pyro, defensively, is undisputed with his air blast. He can push an entire team off the objective, counter an entire other team's Uber on their own, and just flush out massive areas where you're defending. As for his offensive capabilities, it's hard to go wrong with Pyro. His damage is really good, and his main weakness of having to get close to his enemies to deal high damage is nullified by being able to just walk up to them when Ubered. And because of his low skill floor, anyone from a fresh install to a 5k hour veteran can achieve this relative success during a Pyro Uber. He's the best candidate for any type of defensive Uber on basically every game mode. And on offense, great at fleshing out tight areas, typically on attack defend. Heavy has a very high damage up close and can wipe teams if placed correctly. His main weakness of being slow and everyone else being able to run away from him is really bad. It's made especially clear if there's a section of the map where you have to Uber early or be at risk of being dropped by their sniper. When using Heavy for defensive Ubers, he's great. The enemy's destination is his minigun if you place him on the objective. As for offense, he struggles. Unless you're jumping into the other team's hold, it can be difficult to get results with a Heavy Uber. But again, like Pyro, very low skill floor, you just need to work on the positioning a bit. He's best used on defense for payload and attack defend, really. On the other hand, Demoman has a lot more potential for an offensive Uber. He has 8 stickies and 4 pipes, 2 of each can kill just about anything but a Heavy. Not to mention all the splash damage you're going to get, it's actually crazy. Defensively, Demo Ubers work well. When the other team pushes, they're obviously going to be grouped together on that objective, but he does require a good amount of skill to be an effective Uber candidate. Pipes are pretty hard to hit, and if your pocket's just insta-deading stickies after firing, they're not going to get much value. On offense, he's great in every game mode. COV, 5CP, attack defend, payload, whatever. But defensively, just stick to payload and attack defend. Soldier, on the other hand, if you think about it, is just an objectively weaker demo man in Ubers. His 4 rockets can very well be equated to 4 stickies. His damage potential is far less than Demo, but his 2 redeeming qualities is that his mobility is a lot more on the demand than Demo, who has to put a sticky, wait for it to arm, then jump over it and det to chase retreating players, versus Soldier, who just shoots the ground and he's gone. His other redeeming quality is that his rockets are a lot easier to aim than Demo's stickies, so if you see a Soldier with a decent enough gap on the scoreboard than a Demo, I would Uber them instead. Same thing for Demo as far as what game modes they're good on. Now of course there's always exceptions as to what you can in Uber and when. Like if you see an NG with a Widowmaker or a crit boosted Frontier Justice who's just been chilling at the top of the scoreboard, go for it. Or if your team doesn't have the right class in the context, it really comes down to your judgment on the moment. A script like this can't cover every single potential situation you find yourself in a pub. Staying alive is super important as medic. You can't do anything I've mentioned earlier in this video if you're dead all the time. So I'll kind of rattle off some points like I did for charging Uber efficiently. Big survival thing is leaving an Uber. If you Uber in and can see it's not going well, whether your team didn't push in or your pocket didn't get enough kills or get enough space and your death is guaranteed, just leave when the Uber starts to run out. Your pocket might get mad, but staying with them might have only gotten you 1 or 2 more kills, having to wait to respawn to charge another Uber for another 10 to 15 seconds. Next thing you're going to want to do is just not fight people and not go for saws. Let your teammates handle it. There's no point in risking it for 25%. And if you're building properly, you'll get that in no time. In the amount of time it took for you to pull out your saw, go for that, and return back to healing, you probably would have gotten 10-15%. So just leave it up to your teammates to handle the players trying to kill you. Now if they don't see you getting shot by some flanker, you can do one of 2 things. Juke them and scream for help with voice commands while walking through your teammates, hoping they turn around and that the person aiming at you accidentally hits your teammates. Or you can fight them yourselves. I personally don't like to fight people as medic. I only do it when the other members of my team are actively getting shot and won't be able to turn around to help. But your goal when taking these fights is to leave it up to your teammates at the end of the day. Your team does not care how many kills you get on medic, trust me. Nobody's going to care if you have a positive KD. If your teammates round the corner while you're fighting someone, just let them finish him off. It's a lot safer, you can get back to charging Uber faster, and there's really no risk. You're not losing anything. Next point, make sure you keep your distance as medic. You don't need to be right behind the person you're healing, eating the splash they're meant to take. The only reason you should be close to someone is if there's someone's trying to kill you, like I said earlier, or you're avoiding a sniper sightline. Other than that, keep your distance. Can't be asking for a sandwich or retreating for a health pack every 20 to 30 seconds. Yo, if you are enjoying the deep discussion in this video, drop a comment on which one is helping you the most or which one you're finding the most entertaining. Got more content like this coming in the future. Thanks. Lastly, your loadout. This is generally considered the best loadout for medic right here. You should always have the crossbow equipped no matter what, unless you're running the overdose with a quick fix, but I'll get into that into another video. As far as your primary goes with the crossbow, it's just too good. The healing it offers is just insane. You can almost double your healing output with the crossbow air tanking people. In the long range healing, so you can get your teammates back up to a full HP without having to cross a sniper sightline, is just crazy. It's too good. As far as medi beams, stock is always viable, but best used on payload and attack defend. Either side works. The vaccinator is criminally underrated. Basically makes you and your pocket impossible to kill. You can counter an entire Uber from the other team with just 1 to 2 charges, but it's best used in those small sporadic team fights that just randomly happen throughout the map throughout the course of the game. So this is by far my go-to for every Koth and 5 CP match I'm playing. The Kritzkrieg is really good on payload and attack defend, but it's not my go-to. It's best used if the other team is running stock Uber. The idea is that you force the other team's Uber with your crits, then once both medics have 0%, you build faster with that quicker charge rate, then kill the other team's medic when you have your next crits and they don't have an Uber to counter it. And you just keep doing that over and over again so that you can keep the Uber advantage. Lastly, the quick fix is great if you're the only medic. I just wouldn't recommend it on offense for attack, defend, and payload because you can very quickly die to those level 3 sentries. It's also really good if there's only a couple seconds left in the round and you won't be able to get another stock Uber or crits. Might as well take the increased heal rate for free. And maybe if there is enough time in the round and it goes to OT, you can grab yourself a quick fix Uber with a faster charge rate. As for melees, in my opinion, you should only use the Uber Saw, maybe the Solemn Vow. Uber Saw is great for those situations where you're forced to defend yourself. Might as well get some Uber back while you're not healing your teammates to make up for it. And if for some reason, in casual, your team is protecting you really well, the Solemn Vow is a great choice for knowing how low the other team is and if you're able to go for a cheeky crossbow bolt to finish someone off. Or if you're in a call with one of your teammates, you can let them know who's low and who's not. The other options just aren't worth it in my opinion. They're either too situational or don't offer enough reward for the risk you're taking by meleeing someone as medic. And that was 5 fundamentals you need to know as medic. This is my second ever video on this channel, so if you enjoyed, please subscribe. I'm trying to build an awesome community here with you guys. Really bring you guys good tips every week. My next video is going to be an advanced 1v1 guide, so be sure to subscribe and check it out. In the meantime, I'll see you next time. Peace.